The Japanese nightlife is out of this world. You can rent a girlfriend, be a millionaire host, or even buy a robot wife. This is the dark side of Japanese nightlife. The concept of night entertainment was already common hundreds of years ago in Japan. You might be familiar with the word geisha, which was popularized in the 17th century to provide assistance to courtesans. The geisha were seen as a respectable trade, commonly associated with nobility and samurais. The word geisha itself means art person, and they usually sing, dance, and play shamisen along with making small conversations with their patrons. Geishas are intended to give the illusion of chicness to their wealthy clientele, which is why they're usually dressed in fancy traditional kimonos. The many layers of fabric in traditional kimonos represent elegance and sets them apart from courtesans, as the clothing is physically difficult to access. The geishas were made to uphold public morals in pleasure districts and add social value. Geishas were usually young girls given by their parents at an early age to be trained, fed, and clothed to become entertainers in geisha houses. When they come of age, they will work to repay their parents' debt. Contrary to popular belief, geishas are only there to provide entertainment and companionship, not sexual relationships with clients. During their heyday in the 1920s, it was believed that there were around 80,000 geishas in Japan. Sadly, this number decreased drastically by the late 20th century, and today there are only 1,000 geishas living in Kyoto and Tokyo. There are many reasons as to why geishas are not popular anymore. The first is that the practice of giving away children to geisha houses was outlawed after World War II, and parents nowadays don't give their children away anymore, thanks to better economic conditions in Japan. More people are attracted to modern culture rather than traditional Japanese arts, making the profession less desirable. Nevertheless, their impact is still felt today. But Japanese nightlife is still buzzing. From 2012 to 2019, the country experienced flourishing economic value thanks to bars and nightclubs with total income that goes above 2.3 trillion yen each year. But lately, the market has been experiencing hardships due to the pandemic, with numbers only reaching up to 0.72 trillion in 2021. If you still remember the geishas, it turns out that Japan has not been able to let go of its tradition yet. Instead of geishas, Japan now has plenty of bars and clubs with hosts and hostesses, which some people call modern-day geishas. Similar to geisha, their job is to accompany and entertain their customers for a price. Japanese people are famous for being hard workers. That's why they often drink to celebrate the end of the day. Many people in Japan think of this as a milestone in their careers. Due to these types of celebrations, hosts and hostess clubs and bars are flourishing. If you've never heard of a host or hostess bar before, it's a place where people go to drink and pamper themselves with attention from beautiful men and women. That's right, the modern-day geisha is not just women. Men are also participating. Interestingly, there are lots of differences between host and hostess bars. In a hostess bar, the hostess' responsibility is to entertain their guests by talking, serving, and pouring drinks while engaging in flirtatious conversations. Most Japanese men see this time as an extension of their work, where they can discuss deals and serve their business partners. While in a host club, female guests usually go there to have romantic experiences and get showered with compliments. If these hosts and hostesses play their game right, it can be a very lucrative opportunity. This is because the host and hostesses will get paid according to how many people they serve and how much money their customers spend in the club. One successful host that's called the King of Hosts is Roland. Roland is the male geisha, and he's made a fortune just by hosting. His real name is Matsuya Fuuga, and he is currently 30 years old. With his charming social skills and discipline, Roland managed to rake over $2.8 million annually from working as a host. Roland is a master of seduction. He tries to get his customers to spend large amounts of money on alcohol and food in his club. For example, one of his birthdays, Roland managed to get his patrons to spend 10 million yen or $142 in just 3 hours for him. This is because a great host can create emotional attachment to their customers. And customers in turn will do everything in their power to make their favorite host the number one in their club. Roland is now living in luxury in Tokyo at his high-rise apartment. He now owns several expensive cars, one of them a Porsche. The popular host now manages one of the most well-known host clubs in Shinjuku. But that's not his only business. He also owns a museum, beauty salon, beauty lounge for men, a line of beauty products, a gallery, an entertainment production house, and a restaurant. But it's not all good in the world of hosts and hostesses. Like in the case of a young host with the stage name Phoenix Luna in Shinjuku, who was hurt by his girlfriend Yuka Takeako. At first, Takeako was one of his customers, but soon they fell in love and decided to live together. But barely after 3 days of living together, Takeako physically assaulted Phoenix Luna because he came home late and was seen in photographs with other women. She dragged Luna to the entrance of their apartment building and calmly smoked a cigarette. When police asked for her motive, she plainly said, "I loved him so much." Thankfully, Luna survived and Takeako is now serving 3.5 years in jail. Another case that stole international attention is Lucy Blackman. She was a British national who got into hostessing in Japan as a foreigner. Lucy was murdered by one of her customers in 2000 after she went missing for over 6 months. The hosts and hostesses aren't the only ones who suffer. In some cases, their customers can also get dragged into the dark side. Sometimes, female customers can get so attached to their favorite hosts that they do anything to support them, even if it means going into debt for thousands of dollars. Take the case of Takuya Akiba, a host in Tokyo. He has a loyal female customer that would do anything to make him the number one host in his club. Akiba even forced the woman to work in a brothel so she could pay off her bills. Takuya demanded that the woman pay 10 million yen, $142,000 in unpaid dining expenses. Because the woman had no money, Takuya coerced her to work in a brothel so she could pay him more money. Another form of companion that's also common in Japanese nightlife is their rent-a-girlfriend or boyfriend service. Japanese people can be lonely, and instead of going out to meet with actual friends, some choose to have a transactional relationship as a shortcut. These rental services are now booming in Japan because people are so busy overworking themselves that they struggle to connect in real life. The price of renting a girlfriend costs about 6,000 yen per hour for a 2-hour minimum rental. With these services, men can meet beautiful girls and go on dates with them. But this is not an adult-oriented service, so people usually just use this for companionship. The extent of people for rent in Japan is not merely boyfriend or girlfriend. You can even rent a friend to talk with, or even more extreme, rent an entire family. A company called Family Romance rents out replacement relatives. Most people who use this service either experienced a loss or are estranged from their own families. Nishida, a Tokyo man, rented a daughter and wife after his wife's passing. He can choose the age and physique of his wife and daughter, and it all costs about 40,000 yen or $370 per session. The renter can also determine the personalities of his family members to match their preferences. In Nishida's case, he even gave the rental company a key to his house just so that his rental wife and daughter could greet him at home after work. But if you're into something more permanent, then there's also a robot wife in Japan. The country is so advanced in its technology that it can make human-life robots to keep loneliness at bay. One such example is a girlfriend robot for men in Tokyo. The robot is 38 centimeters tall and can kiss on command. The technology has become more advanced, with the latest female robot version called Erica that looks exactly like humans and can hold a conversation. Japan is a unique country with a bustling nightlife. Their clubs and bars can be a dream come true, giving you a luxurious lifestyle and some comfort from a stranger.